Mathematics, Ordinary Level, Paper 1, 2023, Part 4. Let's start with question number 22. The diagram shows the triangle PQR. PQR. Measure line PR. Now, if you want to find it in the textbook, before I show you the measuring, you can go there to Part 1. Part 1, Chapter 8, and its construction. And there on page 407, so measures of line, and that will be on page 407. Okay, but you also did it in primary school. I'm going to show you how, but unfortunately, due to the reduction or bringing it into the digital, my line will not be exactly like your line, the real one, but I'll still going to show you the real value. But I still want at least to show you just how to do it. So you will take your ruler and then you will put the ruler and just make sure, and I'm going to make it bigger. I'll give you my value, but remember it's my digital value. You have the hard copy and you're going to work on the hard copy value. Okay, so if I take this ruler, I must just make sure that this 0 is exactly, I'm just going to put it again there. I think there it's all right. So basically what I'm trying to do is that there, it's exactly on that point. Okay, and there is the 0. Okay, and then if I look on my line, I would say even, and I'm going to do it quickly, just move it a little bit. You can just put it on that. Okay, now on my line, and if I make it bigger, it looks like 6.1, but that's my line. Don't forget, that's my digital line. So 6.1 centimeter. But I'm going to give you the correct answer, the hard copy answer. That's the one in the exam which they report. So let's just make it smaller again. Let's just get the ruler away. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of the ruler. But as I said, the correct answer, the hard copy answer, which I'm going to write here for you, was 5.3 centimeters. Okay, so just take note of that. There's the centimeters. Then, and this is why you need mathematical instruments, using a straight edge and compass only, construct the locus of points inside triangle PQR, which are equidistant from PR and RQ. Now, where do you find this? And this is very nice. It's around the point, it's locus. So it's still part 1. Okay. And this is going to be locus. In that textbook, y equals mx plus c. And this is going to, this 4, it's around 1 point. It's around 2 points, or from 2 points. That's 1 line and 2 lines. So this is going to be the locus of points which are equidistant from 2 given line segments. And can I show you again segments? And I want to first tell you the page. So in the textbook, go to page 4, it's part 1, 418, and go to example 47. That's going to help. So using and construct locus inside triangle equidistant, always for 2 points or 2 lines, they will use the word equidistant. And then it's just, I highlight it a little bit. From PR, that's a line, and RQ. Remember, if they put 2 capital letters next to each other, then it means a line. If they put it separate, say they say P and R, separate, then it means 2 points. Okay, but two capital letters next to each other is meaning a line. So it's from 2 lines. So I'm going to use my compass. Okay, here comes my compass. I look for the letter that's repeating. Now, what letter is repeating? I see it's the R. So I'm going to put the nail of the compass, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it there. Okay, I'll just want to move it first. I want to make it bigger that you see. I'm trying really to help you a little bit with the technology. Okay, so I'm going to put it there. Okay, and then I'm going to put it there. And I think we're going to use a pencil for this. Okay, what will we make a pencil? Let's make a pencil yellow. Okay, and then I'm just going to see if I can start moving it. Okay, sorry. I just want to bring it to action. Okay, just make sure, very, very important, that, can I show you here? That I put it there, exactly on that point. You see, it must be on that point of R. Okay, and now I'm just going to move it. So I'm just going to move, cut, and actually you don't have to go through. Oh, I don't want to move. Oh, that was bad. Okay, let's redo it. Sometimes the technology is a bit challenging, the digital technology. I think it's better to do it just with a normal compass. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, I'm just going to put it again there, and then I just want to see, as soon as I see the little arrow, there it is. Okay, now I'm just going to draw it through. You don't have to draw it through, but my technology is dropping me. You can just make a mark on this one. If it's not through, then it's going to it must just cut that line there and cut that line. But if it's through, it's fine. Okay, because now I'm going to move it. I'm going to move this technology of mine, and I put the nail now on the point where it cuts there. I just want to, okay, more to the side. So I'm just going to move it until I just get my page a little bit lower. So I'm going to highlight this technology again of me. I put it there exactly on that intersection, and then I'm just going to draw there in the middle a line. And then I'm going to move it to the other side. And I hope it's not going to draw a line so big. Just want to first see if I can. Now, it must be on that line there. And then I'm just going to highlight this. Okay. Unfortunately, okay, come on. Play with me. Okay. But basically, you just put it on the other side of the intersection. And then, this is now a long line, but it doesn't matter. Okay, as long, don't clean, don't use an eraser. Now you go for your ruler, and on this ruler, I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. You're going to move this ruler until it's going to rotate, until you put it on that R, and I'm going to rotate it even more, and on that intersection there on the top. And I just sometimes like moving it a bit up. Come on. Make it a bit smaller. Okay, so it's on that point there and on the intersection. So I just want to move it. As I said, luckily you don't have to do it with technology. You can just do it on your hard copy. And that's going to be correct. Okay, so then I just take my ruler And I'm going to just put a line. Oh, I forgot. I must make sure that I'm on a straight line. And I'm going to put it there on the intersection. Okay. And then I'm just going to, let's just see, get rid of my ruler. Okay. And that is, what did I do? I was bisecting angle. Do you see? I bisected that angle. Okay. But that is the locus that they asked me. Okay. We will now go to the report. Okay. Now, the last question. So that was on the sketch. Calculate the bearing of R from P. That's bearings. Now, where do you find bearings in my textbook? Can I just show you? In my textbook, you will find this in the part 2 textbook, the thinner one, maybe the more difficult one, but the thinner one. So it's in chapter 9 and it's bearings, and just go through that. I'll going to explain a little bit. Page 480. There you can go on. But what is a bearing? A bearing is a calculation of an angle from north clockwise. So do you see this north line there? So from north clockwise. Okay. So calculate the bearing of R, okay, R from P. So R from P. Now don't go and assume it's 90 degrees. Okay, be very careful. They gave you, it looks like 90, but it is not 90. Okay, so the first thing that you have to go and do is find first this angle there. Okay, now these two lines, because both of them are north, they are parallel. Okay, and this is co-interior angle. So I can find that angle by saying 180 minus 167. And what will that be? 13 degrees. So this angle there is 13 degrees. Okay, and now I must the bearing from north clockwise. I want that angle. So then it's just going to be the 13 degrees plus the 88 degrees, and that's going to be 101 degrees. And I'm going to write it in here, 101 degrees. Okay, very important. But let's go to the exam report and see what they tell you about this question. Interesting. Okay. So if I look at the exam report, this was question 22. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay, question 22. The first one, the measuring of the line, well answered. A common wrong answer was 52, 53. They rounded off, but you must go to the commas. Astonishingly, many candidates could not measure the line's distance correctly. So I said it's 5.3 centimeters on your hard copy. Mine was the digital copy. Okay, and they gave you a little bit of plus minus. So if you write 5.4 or 5.2, you would have also be correct. Then correct lines with arcs. So they gave you 1 mark for the correct line without the arcs, or the correct arcs without a line. Okay, I'll show you now if we go. And then the 101, if they see that you got the 13, you would have got 1 mark. And then for the final, the 101. Let's just go back to the question paper. Let's just see documents. I just want to show you the final, and then we move on to the. So just take note, as I said, this was just, but they were, so they for 5.2 they marked correct, or for 5.4. Okay. But then for this one, so if you just draw the line, you got 1 mark. But if you draw the arcs, you got another with a compass, not your own arcs. And then for the last one here, it was if they saw the 13 that you did that subtracting the co-interior angles, and then if you came to the 101, they gave you the other mark. Let's go to the next question. Question number 23. Simplify. Now, if you look at this, I always like to show you where to find it. Okay, let's just do it like this. In the y equals mx+c mathematics textbook. Okay, so this is indices. So you will find it in part 1. Just get it correct. So part 1 in chapter 5, and it's going to be indices. And you can look on page 181 plus page 182 and look at example 1 and example 2. That is going to help you. So go to your y=mx+c mathematics textbooks before you try, if you struggle with the question. Okay, so first simplify this bracket. Now it's good to write it like this. So put it over, I like to write a division rather like this. I think sometimes you see it better. Now this one is all right. So it's 2 times 1, it's 2. And it's y to the power of 4. Okay. And now I divide, so it's 4. And what do I do with the indices? It cancel out, so I subtract. So it's 4 minus 2. Oh, and now this is brilliant because it's subtraction and it's like terms. And what can you do if it's like terms? You can subtract. So you get 2y to the power of 4. And they will given 1 mark for if you come to this step at least, and then 1 for the final answer. I'll go to the report because otherwise it's, you have to refer back to the question. Okay, there they show you the nice picture. Okay, so you could have cut there. They just made it a bit smaller than mine. Okay, but let's just go and make it a bit bigger. We can read what they say. Candidates should be encouraged to leave their construction and use a straight edge that means a ruler, to draw the lines. Okay, this question was poorly answered. I don't know, students usually struggle with indices. Common wrong methods of expanding or dividing throughout by 2. Common wrong answers was 2 or 2y. Some candidates confuse simplifying with factorizing, and a common wrong answer of this was taking out something. Lack of basic algebraic knowledge, more specifically like and unlike terms and the use thereof. So there was the answer, and for the in-between they gave you. Okay, but let's go back to the question paper. Okay, so I call it, put it under algebra. Okay, but it's more indices, but it's also like almost like algebra. Okay, so if I look at this one, I see it's 2 brackets. So where will I find that? It's also in that area of the book. So in the part 1, in chapter 3, it's expressions. It's algebraic expressions. And it's multiplication of polynomials. Okay, and you can look there on page 92 in the y=mx+c mathematics textbook, part 1, and that example 3 will help you. Very, very basic. So if I start here, I will just multiply. So I will get 4m squared. And then I will multiply, and I get negative 4 times 7, 28m. And now I start with the bottom. I multiply, so I get 3m. And I multiply, and I get negative 21. So this is my like terms. So it's 4m squared. This is like terms, so it's negative 25. Use your calculator if you still sometimes make mistakes if you are under stress. So press negative 28 plus 3. But remember your rule, the m stays the same. It's addition or subtraction. And then minus 21. And don't forget to rewrite it. 4m squared minus 25m minus 21. Don't forget that. And I'm taking you to the report. And as I said, this, according to me, is really basic. Test almost grade 8 and 9. But taking to the report, so moderately answered. Some candidates expanded correctly and factorized again. Common wrong answer was that they didn't simplify the middle terms. There were some candidates who formed an equation and subsequently solved it. Don't make it an expression equation. Candidates should understand that expanding its simple terms means to get rid of the brackets, followed by putting like terms together. Okay, so for the in-between, you got that one extra mark. Okay, let's go back to the question paper. Okay, so as I said, for that in-between, you would have get, and for the final, you will get that one. Okay, and now we are at the next question. So let's just move a little bit. So the next question, make E the subject of the formula. Where will we find it in the textbook? So we will still be in the part 1. For me, it's all under the bubble of algebra. It's chapter 4. It's the next chapter, because this is now equations. That chapter is about equations. And you can see it's equations because there's an equal sign. Okay, but that will be algebraic representation and formula. Okay, and that will be on page 171, and look at example 54. That will help you. Okay, but it's the root. So I must get first rid of the root, and I must make E the subject of the formula. So if I start there, I'm first going to get, luckily the root is isolated. It's only on that side. So what is the reverse almost like the root is I'm squaring it on the other side. Do you see? And then I'm putting it over 1. And then I cross multiply. So I get E minus V. It's almost like I put a term there. And it's one term equals one term. And it is Ri squared. But who must become the subject? E. So this must just go over. So E is equal to Ri squared plus V. Okay. So write the full out. If there was already an E, it's fine. But if it's not an E, you must write the full equation out. So square plus V. That's your final answer. And according to me, we can now check the report. To get to that other side, to get rid of the root, and then to get the fraction, get rid of the fraction, and then the final step there. But let's go to the report, because that is going to tell you exactly where they gave you the marks. So this question was modelly answered, most candidates recognize that they should square both sides of the equation. However, they reintroduce the square root again. So as soon as you square a square root, it's disappearing. And that's why I didn't write it on that side. So common wrong answers, okay, is this. In some instant, candidates omitted introduce of a numerical value. Okay. A variable, or introduce a numerical value. Don't forget to write everything out, okay? So B1 for getting rid or squaring both sides, you can put it like that, because then you get rid of the square root on the other side. And then for taking the, so B2, but it should have been a plus at the end. Okay, let's go back. Okay. And then the final one, and this is logs, expressed as separate logarithms. And where will we find this in the textbook? That will also be in the part 1, and that's chapter 5, and that's logarithms. Separate logarithms. Rhythms, and that's page 200 in the y equals mx+c mathematics textbook, example 28. Okay, expressed as separate. So let's start. Remember, if it's multiply, it becomes a plus. So it's going to be, so that 2, break up that 2. So it's going to be log 80 plus log square root x. Okay, and now it's going to be log 80 plus, you can first make it, I'm going to first make it like this. It's a half. And then you go and bring it to the front. So it's log 80 plus a half log x. Okay, so I think they were not so strict on that part, but let's see on the report that you have to get it under out of the root. So it's log 80 plus a half log x. Okay, but we can check in the report. So I think for one, was it 2 marks? So if you break it up with a plus, they gave you, and then for the final. Let's go back to the report and see what they are saying there. Okay, so that was question 26. So moderately answer, some candidates calculate the value of log 80 on the calculator. It's not what they ask. Instead of following the instruction, just this, that stated the candidates should express as separate logarithms. Common wrong answers were log 80 plus x, they leave out. So or log this or this. So, but it seems to me they were not so strict. So if you take the half, that is what I wrote. But if you just leave it underneath the root, they also gave you the mark. Okay. Okay, and let's go, the last one I'm doing in this video on the next page. Okay, it's not a long one. And then I'll continue in the next video. Okay, write as a single fraction in its simplest form. Okay, I first want to tell you where to find it in my textbooks. So it is part 1. It's chapter 3. And it's algebraic fractions. And it's addition and subtraction. And subtraction. And you can look there on page 115. And you can first, if you struggle, do example 32. I just want to say, when I look at the question papers, the questions are not, it's almost like moderate. It's not too difficult. It's not maybe too easy. I think you will find far more difficult examples in the textbook. So really, I think you can reach this level easily. Okay, but just knowing your basics. Okay, but for now, I must make the denominators the same. That is what I'm going to plan. So put a bracket around it. So the LCM is going to be 3 bracket x minus 5. Now, I'm just going to put a bracket also there. I'm just going to rewrite it because it's a bit too small for me to write there. Okay, because I want to show you. So I say if I take this LCM divide, I must still go and multiply. I must multiply with x minus 5. And then on the top, x minus 5. If I take this LCM and I divide, I must multiply 3. And I like writing it in. Okay, then I cannot make mistakes. Now my LCM, it's the same. So it's 3 x minus 5. So it's going to be x minus 5 plus 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so now I multiply out the bracket. So x times x is x squared minus 5x. And then the second one, so this is again negative 5x plus 25. So just remember how we multiply. We multiply. Okay. And then don't forget your plus 9. And then over 3x minus 5. Now, if you can continue here. I don't think they will penalize or go to the extra page. So it's going to be x squared minus 10x. And the 25 plus the 9 is 34. Don't forget over 3x minus. You could actually already wrote it in here. So you could have said x squared minus 10x plus 34 over 3x minus 5. And that was your final answer. Okay, they will give you marks. We can now check, but if you came to this step at least, they will give you marks. And then if you didn't simplify that one, and then for the final one. Okay, but let's check. Let's go to the exam report, and this is question 27. Let's see if it's on this page. It's the next page. So let's go to question 27. Poorly answered. Really, so go and practice. Go even just the basic. They're really not going to ask you the most difficult level here. Poorly answered. Most did not write the final answer as a fraction, could not expand the numerator correctly, could not find the LCM, lowest common, and left answers with only the numerator simplified. Teachers need to emphasize on simplifying algebraic fractions. Okay, so there is the answer. Or you could factorize the bottom. That would also be correct. But you could leave it like, or I think mine is like this. It's like multiplying out the bottom. That would also be correct. And then for the steps. We will continue in the next video. All these videos refer to the y equals mx plus c textbooks, the #1 mathematics textbook used in Namibian schools. For more information on these textbooks, visit the Straight Line Publishing website. All y equals mx plus c to success textbooks are available in the NEED catalogue of the Ministry of Education. Schools can order these using their yearly budget for textbooks, with the process typically starting mid-year. Make sure your learners have a copy of the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook used by the top schools in Namibia in front of them in 2025. A final point. If you are in the position, I want to encourage you to buy your own personal copy of the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook. These textbooks are available at the following bookshops. Remember, success in mathematics comes from hard work, perseverance, and the courage to face challenges head on. Good luck with your final 2024 examination.